guys, it's Cindy and Destiny with Keep It Real Podcast, and today we're here with larger than life Ethan Heyre. How you doing, Ethan?
Good. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty
Good.
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 It's been a little bit too hot for me, but
I feel that.
yeah.
I'm outside right now. Right after this, I'm jumping into training, and the AC in the building only comes on show days. So we've just got all these like box fans and like garage fans and stuff. It's gonna be miserable in here. I'm low key dreading it.
Well, stay hydrated.
For sure.
So I know we've seen you around several places, a lot of places. I know Destiny's got the opportunity to work with you a little bit. For people that don't know who you are, do you want to give your a little introduction?
Yeah. So they call me Mr. Larger Than Life, Ethan Heyre. You know, biggest little guy personality in independent wrestling today. I got my start right over here on this street at Grindhouse Pro Wrestling over here in Jeffersonville, Indiana. Of course, I've seen you guys at up at FTC. I've worked with Destiny over at Elevate, which I'm actually going to be back there on the 27th. I think they said was their next show. So for anybody watching that's coming out to Elevate, I'll be there. Yeah, I just had my 3-year anniversary, like starting training to be a wrestler and everything. Like what's today? The not the
13th.
today's not the 9th, the 13th. Okay, 13th. So yeah, about 2 weeks ago, was my 3-year anniversary. So
Nice.
3 years now I've been in it. And I've been lucky to have a lot of opportunities. Early on, staying busy. This car is kind of where I live for the most part these days. So,
Yes, that's what happens when you stay busy.
yeah.
So, what made you want to start wrestling?
So I've wanted to be a wrestler since I was a little kid. I got into. I mean, it was in my house pretty much my whole life. And I finally started kind of like catching on to the stories and everything, like following what was going on TV. Right around like 6 or 7. And from there, like once I was able to invest myself emotionally in what was going on, I was hooked. And so I've been a fan pretty much my whole life. And then throughout like middle school and high school and elementary school, I played football. And then as I got into high school, I did theater. And then I had this really weird, like crazy kind of like blessing in disguise, but in the moment it felt like so apocalyptic because I graduated like right as COVID started. Yeah, so COVID hit, like everything shut down. Like everything shut down. The NBA stopped running the school, all the schools closed, everything, like the world froze in like May of 2020. And I was like 3 or 4 weeks away from graduating. It was tech week for my senior year musical. We had like 2 days to go before opening night when everything shut down. And then that day it was gonna be like, oh, we'll be out for like 2 weeks, and by the end of the night it was like, yeah, we're doing everything online now. So I took the last of my graduating classes online, got my diploma in like 30 minutes total, like whole graduation ceremony, because it was all like they lined us up one by one, like called us into a building like a roll call sheet, and then just filmed us all like walking up and grabbing our diploma and stuff. So out of high school, like the world was frozen, nothing was happening, and I didn't want to try doing college online. And like I had to wait a good few months before like anybody was really like hiring in order to like get a job or something. So eventually I found a good little part-time job, in the middle of COVID, just working fast food because that's all that was ever really open and hiring and stuff. Um, but the blessing part of it was that, like, because the world was frozen, I had all of this time until everything opened up again to figure out, like, okay, I'm graduated. What do I want to do now? Like, Obviously the game plan has changed a little bit because the world is shut down, but this gives me the opportunity to really lock in and decide for sure, like, what do I want my plan to be? Where do I want to go with this? Because coming out of high school, it was kind of just like, all right, I'm coming out of high school, I got to do something. Um, but I didn't really know what. I was planning on going to school, but I didn't really have anything that I like really wanted to go to college for. Um, and so everything shutting down kind of gave me the opportunity to just sit back and breathe and evaluate and be like, all right, what do I want to do? How can I use this time to get myself where I want to be by the time the world opens up again? Um, and I finally decided that, like, you know what, maybe wrestling isn't so unrealistic. I'm an athlete, I'm an entertainer. That I've always wanted to do it, so why not just take the shot on it? So I started digging around for places to train. I found OVW down the road. It was a little out of my budget at the time. Um, but then I found Grindhouse over here, and it was like 30 minutes from my house. No, no further than OVW really, despite being across the bridge here. It was way more affordable for me to be able to like if I had tried to train at OVW, I would have had to save up and save up and save up, and like maybe by the time the world opened again, I might have enough to start training. In like a year's time or whatever. But with Grindhouse, they had a payment plan that was more reasonable. It was month to month, and so I could take like a portion of one paycheck, pay my training dues, and still have money to live off of and everything. Um, so I like the first opportunity I had, I sent my email, I made phone calls, anything I could do to get a hold of them, figure out when somebody was going to be in that building, and then I showed up in front of the front door before anybody else got there and made sure I had cash in hand ready to go. So I finally signed the paperwork and everything July 30th of 2022. So like I said, 3 years now. And it's been off to the races ever since.
Did you have? So you said that you were in theater.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still like? I mean, I know you do somewhat, in your training stuff,
Right.
but do you still
Um,
dabble in theater?
I haven't. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Like I'd like to. There's not a whole lot like around the area. Um, there's a couple little things here and there. But like there's a lot of like there's a what's the I don't know what like the term I'm looking for, but it's like a youth like theater troupe. There's one like right down the road from my house. Like that would have been an option as a kid, but they go up to like a certain age. They don't have like the adult programs or anything anymore. Um, so like, and being as busy as I have, it's one of those things where I've kind of put off looking into it. Be like, oh, if an opportunity came up, that'd be awesome. But I was just thinking about this the other day because I saw something come up in my feed. It was like a theater clip or something, and I was like, oh man, the good old theater days. So yeah, I haven't gotten to since I started wrestling, but it's something that I would 100% be open to jumping back into. I had so much fun in theater back in the day. I loved it. I loved acting. Um, I love entertaining. That's as much as I love the wrestling part of wrestling. I really love like when people react really well to something. When the fans are really into it and invested and biting and going along for that ride with you. I think that's maybe my favorite part of wrestling. So definitely the same could be said for acting. I enjoy entertainment very much.
I know when I watch. I don't know about you because I know you've worked with him,
Mm,
but when I've watched, you're very entertaining.
thank you.
I mean, you're very talented, great wrestler, but that entertainment value is there. You
Thank
get
you.
the crowd going. Yeah, I really enjoy
Yeah,
it.
I think that's what it's all about, man. Like, you can do all the cool stuff you want to, but you gotta make them understand who you are and why you can do those cool things. And I think that's what people really like bite onto is like, yeah, I might hit some, cool little frog splash or whatever, but what makes mine different from the next guy's frog splash and the next guy's frog splash and the next guy's frog splash is who I am and why I've done it and how I do it that separates it from those guys. The energy that I bring to my offense that makes it mine. I think that's what people really like latch onto. You know, they I think people really connect with the wrestling more when they can connect with the person who's performing for them.
All right. Like watching Eddie Guerrero do a frog splash or Dominic
Right.
doing one. You know, there's a little bit of a difference
There's a
there.
difference. Yeah.
So, did you have any inspirations in wrestling
Oh
that
yeah.
made you really want to go for it?
Oh man, so many. I could spend the whole podcast rattling off a list if I really wanted to. Um, but I mean, like as a kid, um, my big ones were like John Cena, Rey Mysterio, um, Shawn Michaels, um, and then as I got older, and especially now, like studying the game and stuff, um, guys like AJ Styles and Bryan Danielson and CM Punk and Seth Rollins and Finn Balor and Dolph Ziggler even. Yeah, I could go on and on. Jeff Hardy. There's I could give you so many influences. I get a lot of Spike Dudley these days, and so I've been doing a lot of like studying up on some Spike Dudley. Um, yeah, I just about anything I've seen in wrestling has probably touched me in one way or another somehow. Like if it connected with me at some point, there is probably at least some like pinch of something from it somewhere in my game.
Was there one particular wrestler that when you were watching wrestling growing up that made you just go, I never want to stop watching?
Oh man. If I could have to pick like one particular one, it'd probably be so excuse me. Okay, so ironically enough, like well, okay, I'll give you a couple. One, Rey Mysterio, like even before I started wrestling, like my dad would go to a show and bring me back like a Rey Mysterio mask or something, and I had a little Rey Mysterio action figure before I knew what wrestling was. So that was definitely one. Like once I started catching on, I was like, oh yeah, that's my guy. And then um John Cena was another one that I really just like invested in. And then interestingly enough, like I mentioned CM Punk, and CM Punk is definitely a big influence now. But like when I really started catching on and investing in the wrestling, he was the bad guy, and I just remember one specific promo where he came out, and I couldn't even remember what the promo was about anymore these days. But I remember he had said or done something, and he literally said like on the microphone outright that like his goal of doing whatever he had done to get the reaction was to piss the people off. Like he was like so happy that the people were pissed. I was just like, man, this guy's such a jerk. And then like right after that, he rolled into the angle with Cena that we know now for like the pipe bomb and the summer of punk and all that stuff. And so it was like I started out like really invested in how hated CM Punk was, and then seeing him go up against my guy John Cena, and like by the end of it, I had been converted. Like I still liked Cena at that point, but he had brought me around. He had won me over, you know. Um, so I guess if I had to give you like a top three, it would probably be those guys: Cena, Punk, Mysterio because I had that small like personal connection to him beforehand, and then actually seeing what he can do, I'm like, oh man, like he's like I could do that. And then Cena and Punk, they I think that was the first story that really like hooked my attention and roped me in.
Yeah, they're definitely great on the mic.
Mm.
For sure. For sure. And you mentioned you trained at Grindhouse?
Yeah.
And that's where you've been from day one all the way through your training.
Yeah. Yeah. I officially graduated in what was it? June? June? Was it May? May. I'm sorry. May we had the official like graduation ceremony for my class. But I still, I still come up here. I still roll around, get my reps in, get my work in whenever I can. We've got like 5 days a week that have a training class in here at some point in the day now.
Nice.
So I try to fit it into my schedule as much as I can. If I'm not on the road, typically chances are you're going to find me in the arena, rolling around somewhere.
Do you feel like, I mean, I know you graduated, but do you feel like a wrestler ever actually graduates?
No, I really don't. I think this is true like all the way up to like the top of the top of the top of the top of the top. I don't think you ever stop learning. Like there's always something to learn. There's always somebody that has some kind of feedback that you can apply that you might not have thought about before. There's always somebody doing something differently that that works, but that you might not have ever considered. And there's always a different perspectives. And I think especially like they say wrestling is like different flavors of ice cream and stuff, and you're catering to different audiences and stuff. And so I think um like having all of those different perspectives and those different flavors and those different crowds that like certain flavors or whatever, like there's there's always something that you can do differently. And I think there's also just there's so much wrestling, and wrestling is evolving so constantly, um that like just when you think it Roddy Piper once said, just when you think you have all the answers, he'd change the questions. And I feel like
Mm.
wrestling does that to everybody all of the time. You can train and train and train and train and work and work and work, and just when you think that you're like the best that you can possibly be, here comes somebody or something with something new or some different situation that you've never been in, or a new perspective or something, and you go, oh man, I didn't even realize that there's this and this and this and this and this and this and this. I just there's so much wrestling and so many ways to do it well and do it right. There's they say there's no wrong answers. And like to an extent, obviously there is good wrestling and there is improper like wrestling, but there's so many ways to do it well that like you can never possibly know everything about wrestling at one time. And just when you think you do, something else is going to come up anyway, and then the game's going to keep evolving and adapting, and you got to evolve and adapt with it.
Is there anybody that you would want to learn from, like in person, that maybe you haven't gotten to come in contact with?
Oh man, so many. I've been lucky enough to come into contact with a handful of people here and there, but there's still so many people that I like the opportunity to learn from. I'd love to learn from some of those guys that I watched growing up. The Rey Mysterios, um the Nick Nemeths, the Jeff Hardys. So this is guys that are still out there. Obviously, Ray's still in WWE, but like Jeff's out and about, Nick Nemeth's out and about. Um, man, there's so many. I every time I see um somebody on that level that I recognized for a while or something, I'll see something else from their work, and it just reminds me how much wrestling there is and how bad I want to learn all of it. You know what I mean? um I've been lucky enough to run into a couple of people here and there who have been able to give me some good feedback. I did a seminar with Jay Lethal a little while back.
Oh,
I just
wow.
got to wrestle Larry D a few weeks ago. I've gotten to wrestle Kerry Morton and get feedback from Ricky about that match. I was able to get feedback from Sabu about that match. So that's been really cool to me. Those are moments where it like the surrealism hits of like, how am I even here right now? Um, I get to train. Last night I rolled around with Myron Reed. I've been training with him every week. But there's so many more people out there that I'd love the opportunity to learn from. Even like you look at some of the people that are in coaching roles now at the Performance Center and at AEW and some of these other promotions and stuff. Like, I just know those guys are dropping so much knowledge on those kids that I'd love to be a fly on the wall for.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, I'd like to be on a fly on the wall, just to, even though I'm not a wrestler, just to hear the conversations and the wisdom that comes from them, because they've been through so much.
Yeah.
In all their years. Who's somebody that you would like to? I mean, I know you've got Bobby Blaze, but is there somebody else that you would?
I love getting to sit around with Bobby, listen to Bobby tell stories and talk wrestling and stuff.
Yeah. There's so many, but I can't pinpoint one right now. I'd like to get to talk to the Undertaker. I feel like that'd be cool.
Oh man.
You're fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's like Mark Canterbury, Henry Godwin. He told us, oh my gosh, so many just amazing. Him, Baby Doll, even Missy Hyatt. They had some great stuff. Great stuff. I know you've worked for EPW, Elevate, FTC, Art of Grappling. Where's some other places? That I see you on a poster for Wildfire. Was that?
Yeah. So Wildfire is actually, I mentioned Kerry Morton earlier. I don't think I'm wrestling Kerry Morton on that show, but I've wrestled Kerry a few times at Wildfire. I've been lucky enough. I've gotten to wrestle Kerry like 4 times at Wildfire now. I've wrestled Eric Smalls there. Actually, funny enough, so this is a fun story about Kerry Morton at Wildfire. I did a show for them on July 4th. And the card is listed. It's Kerry Morton and Shane Douglas, and right after that match is my match with Adam Newsom. And Adam comes out at the end of the Kerry Shane match because Adam and Shane have beef. Shane cost him the Wildfire title and all this. And so I take the opening. I'm gonna cut this big man down and get on him real quick. Well, I thought Kerry was gone. I thought I snuck right around him. He's still there. Tommy and Richie come out. We've got this little pull apart going on. Shane and I are squared up on one side. Kerry and Adam are squared up on the other side. And Tommy and Rich, Adam's in like a neck brace. They're telling him like, no man, you're not cleared. We're not doing this right now. They try to get him out. I start trying to bait Adam Newsom back to the ring because this is the match that we're advertised for. This is the match that's booked. This is a match I was told that was happening. We're about to have this match right now. They're like, this is the spot on the card and everything. This is going down. So I start talking my smack to Adam Newsom. He cannot hear me at all. He's too far. He's already gone. But Kerry Morton heard me. So Kerry hops back over. He starts advancing on me. I'm like, oh boy, he's getting a little close. I go to swing, blocks it, gets me back, rolls me in, pop up power bomb, boom. And I'm thinking, all right, he'll probably leave me there. Adam will come back. We'll get into our match. He tosses me out of the ring, and I'm thinking, all right, he's going to hold down the ring real quick. Adam's probably going to make his way back in, and then whatever happens to me happens to me. This is what I got myself into. But instead, somewhere along the way, I'm on the outside, and I hear a count from the referee. So I roll back into the ring, and all of a sudden, I guess we're just having a match now. So for the next probably 8 minutes, I just wrestled this match with Kerry Morton that I wasn't supposed to have after he just went 15 minutes with Shane Douglas 5 minutes ago. And there's a point where he picks me up in like a stalling suplex, and I have the time for him holding me up and walking me around the ring. I have the time to think about all this in my head. I'm just like, this isn't the match that I'm supposed to be in right now. Like, I love working with Kerry, don't get me wrong, but it just I just had to laugh to myself. I'm like, how did this happen? Like, how are we here? And then we get to the end of the match, and I find Kerry backstage, and he's like, hey man, thanks for rolling with me, whatever. Here comes Tommy around the other corner, and like, dude, Kerry Morton, like Batman, just as Tommy's coming up, Kerry leaves. He had to get home early or whatever. He had another show he had to get to. His car pulls off. I lose sight of his car, and then here comes Tommy. And I'm just left with Tommy to explain the situation. I'm just like, everything good for you, Tommy? And he just goes, that's not what was supposed to happen. I'm like, Tommy, you're telling me, brother.
Oh, I love Tommy so much.
Mm.
He is who got me watching wrestling. The
Oh, yeah?
first time I saw Tommy Rich, I was like, I'm in love. Never turned back. Every time I see him, it's a big hug and how you doing?
Oh, yeah.
He's a sweetheart. I love him so much.
Tommy's great people. I love Tommy too. Tommy and Richie both. They're good people.
Yes, they are.
So yeah, I have fun working for him over there. I don't know what I'm doing over there yet, but I see Kerry Morton's advertised for another match. So whether or not he leaves after that match or jumps in on my match again too, it remains to be seen. But
ask Tommy beforehand. Is there anything that I should know? Any other promotions upcoming that you're going to be at?
Yeah. So I know I've been seeing Brox and Troy up at EWA a lot recently. I'm out there just about all the time. I missed last weekend's show because I was with another promotion, Fantastic League of Wrestling, up in the northern Indiana area. We were at Indiana Beach last weekend. But I'll be in Harrodsburg for EWA this week. And then all the next shows through the rest of the year, I should be at EWA. That's typically in Danville for anybody watching. Trying to think what else I've got coming up soon. I know I have here in a couple of weeks. I'll be doing a show or doing a match, put on by Kentucky Wrestling Federation, who I've been doing a few shows for. They're usually out in the Frankfurt area, but this one's gonna be in Paris, Kentucky. Excuse me, and this is really cool. I'm gonna be wrestling a wrestler by the name of Jacob Ratliff, if you guys are familiar. He's up at EWA a lot too. I've worked with Jacob a bunch. Jacob and I were trained by the same person. I've had some of my favorite matches with Jacob. I love working with Jacob. But this one's gonna be really cool because it's a metal concert, and then Jacob and I will be participating in the first ever no ring wrestling match in Kentucky wrestling history. So I'm super excited for that. Yeah, gonna make a little wrestling history. I'm really hyped for that. With one of my best friends and a sibling student. It's gonna be fun. That's August 19th, I believe. It's a Tuesday. So I'm looking forward to that. Like I said, Kentucky Wrestling Federation, they've got a lot of shows coming up. I've been doing some shows for them. I've been to Pro Wrestling Epic here in Illinois, here and there. I'm thinking about maybe trying to pop up again here soon. We'll see what happens. What else do I have coming up? I've got Bullpen Pro Wrestling coming up. I just had a match, their last show last month with Gaston LaRue. That was the 6th time that he and I have wrestled each other in singles matches alone in the last year and a half. Long-standing rivalry between me and Gaston. So what is next for me at Bullpen remains to be seen. But I've got a doubleheader that day because I've got Bullpen, and then right after that I'll be in Spencer, Indiana, for the Midwest Territories third. This is year 3, third non-annual Smitty Werbin Jaegerman Jensen Memorial Tournament show. I was in the tournament last year. I will not be in the tournament this year, but I will be at the show. And it's going to be a lot of fun. That show's always so much fun. I'm so excited for that. I think that's the main things I've got coming up here in the near future. But I try to stay out there. I've been lucky enough to work for AAW in Chicago once or twice. I've been able to. I am, for the first time, I'm getting to wrestle in Michigan on Friday for New Edge Pro Wrestling Academy. I'll be teaming with my boy Gigi Jacobs against a team by the name of the Blueprint. So yeah, I'm trying to stay out there, trying to check those states off of my map and all that, trying to move around the country a little bit. But yeah, there's a good handful of spots. Grindhouse every month, EWA just about every month. A lot of those KWF shows, those bullpen shows, are probably like the most frequent spots you can find me at, like month to month.
It seems like you're getting them checked off pretty good.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere that you're wanting to go that you haven't gotten to yet?
I would love to get further out on like either one of the coasts, East Coast, West Coast. Both of those scenes are like popping pretty good. And I've been out east, but I haven't been that far up yet. And I think the furthest out west I've been was it Minnesota? I think it was in Minnesota. About a year ago. It was something like Minnesota or Milwaukee or something. It was somewhere out that way, but I haven't gotten like out to the far west, the coastal west yet. Excuse me. So I think those are the two like big regions that I'd really like to get out to that I haven't been able to work in yet. Would be the West Coast scene and the East Coast scene.
So if anybody's watching and they're wanting to get hold of you to book you, you're taking bookings, right?
That's right.
Right. And how would they get hold of you?
Always taking bookings. And the best way to get a hold of me, I have a booking email that's Heyre level, Heyre, Heyre, level booking at gmail.com. If you don't want to send me an email, if that's a little too old school for you, then I've got just about anything on social media you can find me on. I'm on Instagram, Insta Heyre, Heyre. That's going to be the theme of the spelling for these handles. That's my name. I'm on Facebook, Ethan Heyre, Twitter, Heyre Man. So you can send me a message on any of those. I believe I've also got a WhatsApp business linked to my Facebook page. So if you look at the links on my Facebook page, you can send me a message personally through that. And I'll definitely get a hold of that. Yeah, plenty of ways to reach me. HeyreLevelBooking at gmail.com. Any of my socials, you should find me Ethan Heyre, Heyre. You'll look that up just about anywhere, and you'll find this mug somewhere on the internet.
Find you somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Right. For merch, do you have any merch yet?
I do. I wish I had a website link where you could go and like purchase it. But I have so many t-shirts right now. I've got a bunch of buttons. I've got stickers, 8x10s. I've got little higher hand stress balls. And that stuff is all always set up at my merch table. And if you send me a message on any of those platforms, I also have a link tree that's linked in all of my socials. So if you find me anywhere on those and send me a message and just let me know what you want, or if you need to see the selection or whatever, like I'm willing to do my part to help distribute and whatnot, because I realize I'm a little behind on getting my website together and all of that. But the merch is here and it needs to be moved. It's all hot and ready. Nice and affordable, good fair pricing, and it's cool stuff. I got some cool designs. I got some cool shirts. The shirts and the buttons, I've got all the designs in both of those. I've got some real nice stickers that'll look good anywhere you want. You want to put it on a binder, you want to put it on your car, you want to put it on your friend's forehead, anything you want to do with it, they'll look great.
Just
yeah, it's bang right there, and it'll look fantastic. So yeah, the merch is all here, ready, primed for the taking. Get it while you can. If you don't see me at a show and in person when I've got it out on the table, just send me a message. Let me know what you want, and I'll get you taken care of.
all right. So, book Ethan Heyre.
That's right.
Book Larger Than Life.
That's right.
He's fantastic. You
Take
will
your
not
show
regret it. Get hold of him on all the social media channels. Shoot him a message or his email, HeyreLevelBooking at gmail.com.
That's right. Take their show even higher.
Yes. And check him out at the shows. EPW August 27th if you're in the Kentucky area. And then there's, what else was it?
I've got
EWA.
Elite Wrestling Alliance. Yep, EWA.
Wildfire.
That's Wildfire.
Yes.
This Friday at New Edge Pro Wrestling in I believe it's Waterford, Michigan. I could be wrong about that. I don't quote me on that. But apologies to Waterford, Michigan, if they just caught a stray. But yeah, New Edge. Bullpen Pro Wrestling here in a couple of weeks, the 23rd. And the Smitty Werbin Jaegerman Jensen Memorial Tournament show.
I remembered that one, but I wasn't even going to try to pronounce it.
He was number 1.
Yes. But thank you so much for coming on. We'll let you go. We know you got to get to training.
Thank you guys.
Get to working, and hopefully come back in a couple months, give us an update.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank
This
you.
is Cindy and Destiny's Keep It Real podcast here with Larger Than Life, Ethan Heyre.
That's right.
Thanks. Till next time. Keep it real.
Keep it real and take it higher.